Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to the channel. We've got something a little bit special today. We were approached by the Quiethitman and his offsider Jason, aka Jaybot, for those of you who might be familiar with the name, to take a look at a mod. Now this is the Lizard Farming Pack. If you played FS19 you might have been familiar with the Quiethitman's work with the Lizard pallets and also the Lizard Reusable pallets, two separate mods. Now he's gone and combined those into one, so we've got this here, the Lizard Farming Pack, as well as adding some additional features. Now we're going to go and take a look at all this, but just if we look around, you are going to see there's quite a bit to take in. So we'll rush around and have a look at it. We'll try and cover off everything as we go. Now it is currently, or it has been submitted to Giants for testing. I can't tell you whether it's in the testing list or where it's sitting in that queue of what I last heard was over 1,000 mods to be tested, but it is there with them to take a look at. And for those console players, yes, it is hopefully, and fingers crossed, going to be for all platforms. That is certainly the intent, is to have it on console as well as PC. So very big news there. I used the original packs in 19 extensively in my series. Just found them fantastic. So that's enough rambling, let's go and take a look at what we have. Now I'm going to start off with the small bits and pieces first. In front of us here we've got 50 litre single bags and 50 litre liquid containers. As you can see, there is 14 different fill types, your pig feed, horse feed, manure, road salt, wood chips, sheep feed, potatoes, sugarcane, solid fertiliser, limestone chicken feed, TMR feed, mineral feed and seed. So you can go and pick those all up as single bags. Now they range in price from $5 up to $35 depending on what you're buying. I imagine, we'll have a look soon, but I imagine manure and limestone are often the cheaper products there. So if you are starting off small or just wanting a little bit of product, maybe you want to keep some chickens fed before you get some wheat or food grown for them, you can go and grab a few bags of that. You can pick them up by hand, which is just great. Move them around as you need to and load them up. And to accompany those, we've got 7 different liquid containers. 50 litres again. If we just have a look there, we can see we've got water, there's the silage additive, diesel, liquid manure, milk, fertiliser and herbicide. So again, if you're just wanting to start out small, or the silage additive doesn't actually take much to put that into a silage wagon or a forage harvester, you can start off there with those. You might be running out of diesel in the field, and instead of dragging a whole tank around, you might want to go and grab one of these. They range in price from $5 up to $650. I think you'll find it's not the water you're paying a lot for, it is the silage additive. Once again, easy enough to pick up, walk around and carry. So great little addition there, well, great little start there with these small little packs. Now I guess you've probably seen from what we've seen already, we're going to move up to these in a larger size, and there's a little bit more detail once we start looking at the pallets. So we'll go and take a look at those now. So in front of us here is all the different pallets. So we've got the 14 different options we just looked at in the single bags, all exactly the same, but we are just able to buy it in bulk. And when I say buy it in bulk, there's 2 different options. If we just come over here to have a look. On the left here, in the clear wrap, which is the seed I think it is, we've got bulk pallets. So that's 2 pallets. If we just walk up there, you can see 4,200 litres, and it is indeed seed. Next to that we've got the sugarcane, again 4,200 litres. In the single pallets, 2,100 litres, obviously half of that. So you can go in and buy in bulk, you can get some decent quantities, but still have it in pallet form in bags that you can load up from. As well as that, there's the different wrap options. So you can see there, we've got this down the bottom, the potatoes, they are unwrapped. Down below that, or next to that, the limestone has a clear wrap on it, and then above that is the solid fertilizer, which has the black wrap. So obviously, depending on what you go with, you can see through the bag to see what you've got for the clear wrap. It's a bit hard to see, I must admit, because it doesn't say it on the sides. That would be something that might be nice to see if there is an update or any tweaks to it, would be to have the name on the side, but you can see the seed there. And of course, if you've got the info box down the bottom, you can pick up that. But I do like when you've got the black wrap on, it's quite clear and obvious exactly what you've got. So that is that's the bulk pallets. Let's just take a look in the shop before we go any further and see what these are like in there. So you can see here some of our pallets: seed, sugarcane, potatoes, lime. We just click on the seeds and bring that up there. You can go in there and see your single pallet. For the capacity, you can go to the bulk pallets there. Obviously, it doesn't quite double, which is interesting. $1,400 for the base, 2,100 litres. But if you buy in bulk, it only adds 1,200. So you actually get a cost benefit to buy it in bulk versus if you were to buy 2 separate pallets. Talking about the wrap, the clear wrap there, and you can see bottom pallet, top pallet, and the same with the black as you go through. So that is what you see, all exactly the same. There is obviously a little bit of a cost there depending on what the wraps are for the black. Everything else is no cost. So that is what you get when you buy it. So you can head in there and get those there. But if we just scroll through, you can see all the different options. And in the pallet options, the other thing we haven't talked about is hay bales, straw bales and silage bales. So there you go, you can see 6,000 litres of silage there, 6,000 litres of straw, or 6,000 litres of grass if you wanted to buy that. Again, if we just take a look at the shop, there you go, there's your 4 options. I did miss out the hay pallet. I hadn't bought the hay and put it in there. So that was my error. I apologise for that. But you can see we've got the 4 different options for bales: grass, hay, straw and silage. And if we just use silage as an example, we can go to bulk and double up to get the 12,000 litres. So not cheap, $1,000 or over $1,000 per 1,000 litres. But if you, again, can't cut grass, can't afford to have all the equipment you need to make silage, this may be a way to get onto the farming ladder. Like we were saying, 14 different fill types that you can go and buy, plus as well as the 4 different bales, the straw, silage, grass and hay. I thought it would be worth demonstrating the fill animation here, or the unload animation. You can see as the pallets disappear, or as the bags disappear, the wrap so shrinks away from it. So that's very nice. You can get a very good visual cue as to how much you have left, and once it's all gone, the pallet disappears. So there we go. That is the pallets there that we have just had a look at. Right, moving on from the dry product in the pallets, let's go and take a look at the other liquid options that we have. And just like with the 50 litre liquid containers, the larger liquid totes here, 2,200 litres in each one, we've got the same 7 fill types there. The difference with these is they can be coloured, so you can see the diesel fuel and the herbicide are both different colours, so you can clearly identify where they are. Now I think the rest, except for the fertiliser, I've used a tinted option, so you can't really see the colour, but you do if we get close enough there for the manure, and see that they do have a slightly different colour in them. As these are being used up as well, the fill level will drop. So we'll just we'll go and grab the spring water actually, because we've got a water trailer over there, and we'll show you how that all goes down once it's filling up. So we've got the water trailer here, we've just pulled up next to the tote, and if we start to refill, you can see there quite clearly the levels going down. So again, another good visual cue to keep a track of how much product you have. And once that's empty, it also disappears, so you don't have any empty totes lying around that you need to deal with. So that is the liquid ones. We'll just take a quick look at those in the shop as well, and just give you some ideas on what you can do when you're purchasing them. So here under the pallets, liquid tanks pallet, if we double click on there, you can see our different options: herbicide, fertilizer, milk, slurry, water, silage and diesel. And the options there, if I just flick between these, you can see tank clear, tank white, tank clear tinted, and the different colors. So again, we go through, the fertilizer would have been blue. Of course, white, you can't see it, and tinted, it just changes the color, makes it a little bit darker. So that's all very helpful. Different prices too, as we clicked through those, you would have seen on the configuration there. Slurry only $400, water $100, whereas the silage additive $8,200. So all priced appropriately for what the product is that's going into them. So that is the liquid containers and the liquid tank pallets. Moving on from those options, if big bags are more your thing, Quiethitman's got you covered. Same 14 bulk fill types that we had in the pallets, you can also go and pick up in your big bags. You just have a look up there, 2,100 litres. So again, same capacity as the pallets. So apart from the visuals and I guess the realism, if you're wanting to fill a fertilizer spreader or a seeder or something like that a little bit more realistically, you can go and pick one of these up, dangle it over the hopper, and it will unfill. So we'll go and grab the spreader actually, seeing we've got it there. We'll pull out the solid fertilizer and take a look at that. Before we do though, let's just jump in the shop and have a quick look at them there. So nothing too much different here in the shop for these versus the pallets. The only big difference, which might be quite helpful if you are looking at doing this in bulk, is you can buy in a group up to 8. So we'll go through there. You can buy 8 bags at once. So obviously that gives you a whole lot more quantity, 16,800 litres there. So if you are looking at buying bulk product and using it, I guess realistically, like we said, using a big bag handler, this might be the way you want to go. A little bit easier than clicking on the pallets 8 times to buy the same amount. Although, of course, if you got the bulk pallets, you only need to buy 4 of them to get the same amount you've got here from the 8 big bags. So I guess each different option will be appropriate for what you want to do and give you lots of flexibility. And that's what I probably like the best about this pack, is the flexibility it does bring to your style of gameplay. The basic physics here are exactly the same as the in-game big bags. You can come up next to it, press the attach button. This is one of the in-game big bag handlers. Then if we just get this turned around here, we've got our fertilizer spreader lined up. Haven't lowered the spreader down, but we can simply pick this up over top, make sure we're sitting pretty horizontal. When we get into the spot, it will start filling. And there you go, there's the animation coming out the bottom. So for I guess the realism of how this might be done in real life versus pallets, this might just add that little bit extra flavour for you. But there we go, that is the big bags, 14 different options in those, and very, very handy. And moving on to the last packaging or pallet part of the mod, we have here the reusable and single-use pallets. Now this was what made up the, obviously by the same name, the reusable pallets mod in FS19. Now you're going to see production pallet there, and we're going to get to that in just a minute, but let's just take a quick look at these. So in the reusable pallets, there's 5 different options there: honey, eggs, wool, the production pallet, and also a bulk pallet. So you could put anything that you want just about in there, all the different bulk fill options. I believe it is the same 14 that we have sitting over here on the left in the big bags. So anything you might want to put in there, whether you want to use it for storing leftover seed, you might want to put potatoes in it, limestone, anything that you want, you can store in there, and it is reusable. So these actually show up in your garage as something that you own. Now with the egg and wool pallets, you can just go put those down, and obviously the honey pallet as well, you can go and put those in at the trigger points and they will fill up over time. So we'll just jump into the shop and take a look at these, because it's interesting the options we have for the capacity. So at the front here, we've got the main reusable pallet, and then we've got the different options. You can see the single-use egg pallet, reusable egg pallet. There's obviously a premium on a reusable one. Single one, I guess it's kind of a hiring fee for want of a better description in there. If we just use the egg pallet, the reusable one, for an example, we pop in here 3 options for the color. You can go white, clear, or tinted. And then the interesting part's the capacity. So your standard capacity, 2200 litres. You can go to the bulk capacity of 4,500 litres. And for those who are producing a lot of eggs or just don't want to have to handle too many different pallets, you can go to what Quiethitman has called the black hole capacity, and that gives you 15,000 litres of storage in that pallet. So that's a lot of eggs and a lot of omelettes if you manage to drop one of these. Same applies for the single-use egg pallet. Color options are all the same, and the capacity is exactly the same as well, 15,000 litres there for the black hole or the standard or bulk capacity. So those are the 5 options there, and if we just move over, exactly the same here with the single-use pallets, all the same options as we just saw in the shop. However, there is not the single-use bulk pallet. These are all specifically for egg, wool, honey, and the production points. Now, of course, if you're going to have lots of pallets on the farm, you're going to want somewhere to store them, and Quiethitman's got you covered there as well. 6 different options here for shelving, from a rather large and deep bulk shelving option here, the 2 different widths. Step back, you can see the wider option there on the right, the narrower option there on the left. 2 for, I guess, more for the pallets, not quite as deep. You can see as we look along them from the back to the front, they aren't quite as deep, so still another good option there for storage. Again, the narrow and the wide. If we just come across here, ignore the conveyors, because we're going to get to those in just a second. These smaller ones here, with just the single pallets. So you can see the floor. You wouldn't be putting the bulk pallets on there, but if you just had the single ones, you could stack them up there. So we'll just take a look at those in the construction menu and check out the price. So you'll find these under decoration and others, and there we have the 6 different options. $500 and $1,000 for the 2 small ones, $1,000 and $1,500 for the middle ones, the pallet shelf, and then for the bulk pallet shelf, $1,500 or $2,000. So very affordable. When you place them down, you do get that painted texture just around them. So it does take care of that, and you can obviously then go and do some landscaping around to make it suit within your farm however you might want. And that brings me on to what I think is probably the best improvement, or the biggest improvement, or the biggest game changer, for want of a better description, that this pack brings. You recognise these conveyors as the same as the in-game loading conveyors. Quiethitman has given them his own touch and designed these to be used in production chains to load bulk products, and that will now connect you as to why we had the production pallets over there. So these have, and I'll just pop an image up there that I was shared, these have a rather extended pickup area in front of them, and that matches, if we just have a look at the greenhouses we've placed here already, that matches the length of these. So if you put your conveyor here at the front with the pickup facing in that direction, it will pick up whatever product you have in there that is a production chain product, lift it into the conveyor, and then you can drop it into one of those production pallets. So I've set up a few greenhouses here, and we've also got a bakery over the back as well. So we're just going to take a look at how these work in this situation. So we'll just set these up and come back in a second to take a look at them working. And in fact, I'll show you the first one. So exactly the same as all the others. We can fold the front there, move it around. It's got a steering wheel, so once you've turned it on, it does only move at 3 miles per hour. But with the drawbar there, you can hook it up to your tractor to get it from point A to point B as quickly as you can, and then use it like this just to fine tune your position. Now if we just leave that right about there, that will be set up perfectly to get our pallets. So we'll go and grab a pallet, we'll get the other one set up, and we'll crank up the time to get some product produced and show you how it all works. So I've moved all the conveyors over there and got them set up in front of each of the production points. Now I'm not going to actually go and show you each and every one. There's probably not much point. We'll just focus on this end here with the strawberries that are in the bigger greenhouse. Now I didn't show you the shop. We'll just go and take a look at these before we go any further and show you where to find them in the shop. So logic would tell you that they will be under belt systems, and you can see there's the default Lizard S710, and if you scroll all the way to the end, you will find the Lizard Logistics S710, clearly their production only, part of the Lizard Farming Pack mod. And if you pop in there, you can see the only option we have on it is colours, and Quiethitman has given you a good array of colours. You could colour code them to your production if you wanted to, or just to whatever you want your farm to look like. So there they are, and only $2.5 grand, so not expensive at all. So with it set up there, I'm just going to use the console commands here just to cheat some strawberries into the production zone and just show you how this will take them off the ground and put them into the pallet. And there we go, we've got 4,000 litres of strawberries there. You can see that it is taking them off these front 3 pallets. What are they? They're going down there. We haven't quite reached the far ones, but it is picking those up. And if we come and take a look over here, this is filling up pretty rapidly. Now we'll just keep an eye out here, because there is one feature on this that I really like as well. You see, as we're filling up there, we're just getting towards the 2,200 litres. Just keep an eye on the sign there on the side of the pallet. There we go, pallet full. So no complaints or no arguments about if there's any more capacity. Even though we can't see into it, you know 100% that your pallet is full. So I thought that was another nice little touch there. Just to demonstrate how a full pallet of strawberries behaves when you take it into a production point that requires that product. We're here at the bakery, and you can see our strawberries are emptying out of the pallet. And that was not a reusable one, that has disappeared, so despawned once we've used it all up. So just seeing if we can get some cakes to spawn here at the bakery. And there we go, you can see they are going up the elevator there, up the conveyor, and ending up in our pallet. So as it empties out, And there we go, we come over here and see our pallet is filling up with cake. So just to demonstrate that other fill types are taken by these, or any fill type from the production function is available to be used in the production pallets. So again, makes things a whole lot easier than handling a whole lot of different pallets. So there we go, that is an early look at the Lizard Farming Pack by Quiethitman, an amalgamation of his Lizard pallets and reusable pallets from FS19 into one single mod pack for FS22, complete with those additions such as the conveyor belt and the production chain pallets which can be used there, and also the shelving. Yeah, have a look over there. So all in all, I've been pretty overwhelmed by the quality of this. I just think he has done a fantastic job. There is a lot of playability, a lot of different features and functions that I think will be very helpful and have been very well considered. So looking forward to having this in-game, seeing it on the mod hub, so keep an eye out for it there in the testing lists and when it is released. I think some of those features, especially the conveyor belt, are going to be a bonus for console players. I think that will help a lot with making production chains a little bit more manageable than having to deal with a whole lot of pallets. You never know though, you might be someone who does like loading pallets lots and doesn't really want that taken away from them. But that is all from me. I do hope you've enjoyed that first look, review or preview of this mod. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.